everyone. My name's Lisa Thompson,
Hello, everybody. My name is Annemarie Anang.
and today we are here to spark empathy with you and talk a little bit about some books. Anne Marie, would you like to tell us about the book that you're speaking about?
Absolutely. I'm here to talk about Dance Just Like So, which is my latest story. And it's all about the joy of dancing together. If you jump into my story, you'll meet a character who loves to dance with his gran. This is Kwesi here, and that's one of his favourite things to do. I'll just take you through some of these beautiful illustrations, which are done by Natel Queck, by the way. Here is a picture of Kwesi and his gran and the neighbours who all love to dance together. And here, Gran is announcing that she's going to teach them the Shooby-Doo Mambo, which is a dance that won her a trophy many, many years ago. So Kwesi at the moment is feeling very, very excited, along with all the neighbours too. And Gran starts to teach them the Shooby-Doo Mambo, which is a really fun dance, by the way. And unfortunately, Gran has an accident and she injures herself. So she hurts her knee. Here we've got Kwesi looking very, very sad and sorry for his Gran and the neighbours too, because I guess it means there's no dancing anymore and his Gran has hurt herself. I'd love to read the next pages for you after Gran's had her accident and the neighbours have left. Without dance class to look forward to, the week went by very slowly. Kwesi's head hung low when he made Gran sandwiches. He dragged his feet when he fetched her post. He slumped his shoulders as he swept the kitchen floor. There was no boogylicious beat. Kwesi didn't feel like tapping his feet. Oh dear. And I'll just show you those beautiful illustrations. And you can see with each activity that Kwesi's doing, it really shows how he's feeling. He's got his head hanging really low, his shoulders are slumping, and he's dragging his feet on the floor. And this is what people usually do when they're feeling quite down. So yeah, Kwesi's not tapping his feet at all because he doesn't feel like dancing. And I suppose Kwesi's also feeling maybe a bit lonely without his Gran to dance with. To hear more about your story, Lisa.
Lovely, thank you. That was a fantastic, brilliant book there. I love seeing those pictures as well, and I'd love to try the samba one day. So if you jump into my story, you will meet two characters called Sydney, as you can see here, and Carrie, and this book is called Sydney and Carrie Have a Party. Now, Sydney and Carrie are friends at school, and they realise that they have a birthday in the same week. And their parents come up with this idea and suggest to them, how about you two have a joint birthday party? And they are so, so excited about this. They can't believe this brilliant idea and this thing is going to happen. But when they start to plan their party together, they realise that maybe it's going to be more difficult than they think. So I'm going to read a little bit of this story where things might start to go a little bit wrong for Sydney and Carrie. Sydney and his mum saw Carrie and her dad on the way to school. "I'm going to sort out things for the party today," said Carrie's dad. "Have a think about what you'd both like and let me know." Carrie's dad and Sydney's mum began to talk about the party. They walked in front of Carrie and Sydney. "I know exactly what we should have for our party," said Sydney. "We should have a magician. The magician can tell jokes and do a trick where they pull a bunch of flowers out of their sleeve." Carrie frowned. "No, I don't want a magician," said Carrie. "Let's have a disco with flashing lights and loud music that makes your heart go thump." Sydney frowned. "But I don't like noisy discos with flashing lights," said Sydney. And you can see here, they're not looking very happy about this. "Well, I don't like magicians telling jokes," said Carrie. Sydney was beginning to feel angry inside. "But your ideas for the party are silly, Carrie," said Sydney. "No, they're not," said Carrie. "Your ideas are rubbish, Sydney." So you can see Sydney and Carrie, who are really, really good friends, are having a bit of an argument now. They can't decide on what to have for their party, and they have lots of disagreements over the cake and the decorations and the entertainment. And they have to see if they can work out some kind of compromise so that their party isn't one big disaster.
Wow, Lisa, that sounds really exciting. It's always hard when you're trying to decide on things as important as a birthday party, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly, yes. And it doesn't mean that one thing's wrong or one thing's right, does it really? Now we are moving on to the Empathy Challenge, Empathy Artists. And we're going to be exploring how these characters are feeling and how we might be able to express what they're feeling in an artistic way. And this is all about learning some skills, empathy skills, perspective taking, having a think about how somebody else might be feeling and how it might feel to walk in somebody else's shoes. Now, both of our books have characters who are having a bit of trouble in their story and might be feeling a bit sad or a bit worried. How are the characters feeling in your book, Anne-Marie?
We see Quasi here with the neighbours looking quite sad because Gran has really injured her knee, and Quasi asks, "Are you all right, Gran?" And she shakes her head. So this is a moment where he's feeling quite sad, and the neighbours also tiptoe out, which shows things aren't looking too good. You can see that there is no dance class anymore. Quasi's not doing so great. He's feeling quite low, quite sad, head hanging low, feet dragging, and shoulders very low. And the text says, there was no boogylicious beat. Quasi didn't feel like tapping his feet. So when you're feeling good, that's usually when you want to dance, and he's feeling very sad. His feet don't even want to move. So yeah, that's a little bit about his struggles at the moment. What about your characters, Lisa? How are they doing?
Not very well, to be honest. So Sydney and Carrie have got this big party that they're both really excited about, but they can't agree on what they want in this party. And you can see in this picture, this is illustrated by Jess Rose, they're looking very sad. All this excitement has kind of disappeared because they both want different things. They both want different cakes, they want different entertainments, they want different decorations in the hall, and they're both really sad and they're almost angry with each other. They have got these feelings inside and they're not really sure why their friend doesn't want exactly what they want. So hopefully a little bit later on in the book they might be able to do something which is called compromise. And what does how do we compromise, do you think? I think compromise is all about understanding how other people are feeling and maybe doing something to help that. Is that how you would describe it, Anne-Marie?
I would, Lisa. Yes, I would say that for me, it's about not always having what I want, basically. And, if my friend or family member also wants something, I'm not right, they're not right. We should try to work together. So I might have to change what I want a little bit, and my family member might have to change what they want a little bit so that we can both be happy and continue having a good relationship and friendship. I think that's how I see it.
So teachers, why not pause the video now and have a little discussion with your group about what compromise means, and maybe come up with some ideas on how we compromise and think of some examples. Welcome back. I hope you've had a good chat about compromise. And compromise is something we all do, don't we, Anne-Marie? It's sort of, I would say, is seeing the world from somebody else's shoes, thinking about how someone else might feel. Do you think the same as that?
I do, Lisa. And I think we compromise every single day with our friends, with our families. And it's a really good skill to learn to do, and something that is important if we all want to live and work together. Yeah.
It's a superpower, really, isn't it? If
yeah, it is.
We skills, we have superpowers, I think.
That's a great way to explain it, Lisa.
So we're going to go back to empathy artists now, the challenge. And Anne-Marie's going to talk a little bit about drama and maybe using some drama skills when we're thinking about empathy and walking in other people's shoes. And you've got some lovely pictures, haven't you, in your book, Anne-Marie? You're going to show how things might see visually.
That's right, Lisa, because I think sometimes the way we are feeling is shown in how our body is. So I showed earlier these pictures, illustrated beautifully, by the way, by Natal Queck. Here we've got Kwesi is making grand sandwiches, but his head is hanging low. Then we've got him dragging his feet as he's fetching her post and slumping his shoulders as he sweeps the kitchen floor. So these are very sort of quite obvious ways of telling how somebody is feeling. So I thought you could all try that, actually. So stand up if you like, or stay seated, whatever's comfortable for you. The first thing he does is his head is hanging low. So can you all hang your head low while you try to make grand sandwiches? So maybe you've got your hand here and you're spreading the butter on the sandwiches, but remember to keep your head low. Yeah, that's not a very happy place to be. And I wonder how that feels. What do you think? How does that feel to you? Yeah, probably feeling quite low, quite sad, quite down. Good, excellent. And then the next one he does is he is going to fetch her post, but he's really dragging his feet. So I would like you, where you are, to try to move around, dragging your feet like they're really, really heavy. Fantastic. And this is not a very happy state to be in, a happy place, but dragging your feet when you're feeling very heavy, very miserable, right? Brilliant. And then the last thing he does is he's sweeping her kitchen floor, but he is slumping his shoulders, so they're very, very low. So I would like you all to slump your shoulders. And if you like, you can also try to sweep the floor a little bit while you're slumping your shoulders. Oh, fantastic. And again, this is not a position you're in when you're feeling very, very happy, very, very confident. You know, this is someone feeling very down and very, very low. And even Kwesi's feet didn't feel like tapping because he's not feeling in a very positive mood. He's feeling quite down and probably quite alone, I would say, Lisa.
Yes, yeah, really very, very expressive, those pictures, aren't they? We can tell how they're feeling just by looking at the pictures, and hopefully everyone can sort of use those body sort of movements to express themselves.
That's right. I think it's a really good way to get into someone's shoes if you actually try to mimic and copy what they're doing. Yeah.
So I think this would be a good idea to have a little drama activity, wouldn't it, for the children to maybe think up their own party, their own dance. So you've seen our characters have sort of been a bit angry and a bit sad and a bit miserable. And maybe you can have a chat about what kind of dance party you might like to have and see if you can have a compromise in amongst you all, and then act out the dance party. What things are you going to have there? What things did you have at your party, Anne-Marie?
Oh, goodness. Oh, I do love cake. So yes. the biggest cake. But then maybe I might have to compromise on the type of cake, because I know that some of my friends have nut allergies. Some of my friends are vegetarian. So then I would like everyone to be able to enjoy my cake. So I might have to make some compromises there about what type of cake it is, Lisa. What about you? What would you have at your party?
Cake as well. And, maybe I would have, or definitely music, I think, but then there might be a discussion about what type of music you might like at your party. So lots of music, and I'd love dancing. But then maybe some seats around the edge so that some people that don't want to dance can sit and watch. That might be a good compromise as well.
It's a great idea.
So why don't you pause the video and have a chat about this amazing dance party that you're going to be planning? Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've had a really good chat about your big dance party that you're going to plan. So we've left you hanging on with our characters, having a bit of sort of a sad time or an angry time. So should we find out what's going to happen in our books and how do our characters compromise?
Yes, Lisa. So here we've got the Shooby-Doo Mambo, but on chairs this time. So Kwesi and Gran are doing this fantastic dance on chairs. And it's very exciting because Gran is holding a stick. She's got a beautiful walking stick now. I'm going to show you the previous picture where you see how fantastic she looks on her wonderful glittery new walking stick that she's got. And she's using that now as part of the dance, as well as Kwesi. So they've both got canes. And at the end of this new fantastic dance, which is very spectacular, leaving all the neighbours who are joining in with the dance quite stunned, they throw their glittery canes high into the air and they catch them just like so. And Kwesi actually says, the Shooby-Doo Mambo is even better with chairs and canes. It sure is, beamed Gran. So actually, their compromise is actually something, they've produced something amazing. They've got a dance that is actually better than Gran's original dance that won her this amazing trophy. They've got something so special now. And actually, what we find out at the end of the story, that it wasn't Gran who invented or made up those dance moves on chairs. It was actually Kwesi. So Kwesi practiced really, really hard and able to come up with such a great, fun dance routine. So it's a really special way to end the story. And all the neighbours want to now learn this new Shooby-Doo Mambo on chairs, which now, you know, Gran can dance so well. And it's even better than when she was standing up. So, yeah. A great way to end the story, I think. And I'd love to hear about yours. What is the compromise?
So Sydney and Carrie can't agree on what they're going to have at their joint birthday party, and they have a little lesson at school, and they're put in pairs, and they're not very happy with each other. But they have to design a house between them, so they have an outline of a house. And they have to come up with different things for this house. And so Sydney wants a slide coming out of the window. And then Carrie thinks that's okay, as long as we can have a chocolate front door. And they make this amazing picture of this rather exciting house with candy floss clouds. And then they realise, designing this picture in their lesson at school, that they've come to a compromise. They've taken it in turns and they've had different things, different choices that they wanted for themselves. And they sort of do the same for their party, really. One of them really wants to have tigers at the party and one wants to have frogs. So they have a compromise and have a mix of the two. And a bit like we were talking about earlier with cake, they have a lovely big cake with a chocolate bottom of the cake and strawberry with cream on the top. And they come to a decision where they can both have probably what they want with a little bit of compromise in the middle. And they have a fantastic party at the end of it. So again, they've sort of learnt that what they wanted doesn't mean to say it was the right thing. They had to listen to each other and try and find a compromise and see a perspective of what the other person might be feeling, and then everything's happy in the end. And again, I've got some beautiful pictures by Jess Rose in this book. So that's a nice happy one at the end there.
Oh, that's such a lovely compromise, Lisa. And it means that their friendship can continue to blossom as well. They've been able to, you know, continue their friendship. I think that's really, really important. And that's why, you know, compromise is important.
So if book characters can compromise, maybe you can as well. So now it's your turn with our empathy artists. So what kinds of things could our empathy artists create for this amazing dance party they're going to plan?
What about the dance? Of course, Lisa.
Exactly, different dancing. They could do some different dancing and maybe acting, a bit of drama, maybe. So showing the different conflicts or the different disagreements in the party.
That's right.
Draw a picture.
Drawing, yes. Making some music together, perhaps creating a song, for example. That's a good idea.
Yes, or even maybe making a sculpture of some sort using some bits and pieces, some scrap paper and cardboard and plastic. Then maybe they could, that would be quite a tricky one, but that would be a really good one to see.
Wow, lots of interesting ideas we've got. Yeah, so now it's over to you. What have we been learning today? We've been learning about compromise, how to compromise, and how important it is to keep friendships together and be able to work and live together. We've also been looking at perspective taking, which means walking in somebody else's shoes. So we've been thinking about that today as well.
Fantastic. Yes, we have. So we've been exploring empathy through stories, but how about looking at empathy in everyday life, your day-to-day life, your friends, your family, your teachers? How might it feel to just understand what it could be to live in somebody else's shoes every now and again? It's a skill that we can all try and work on and all try and learn and to keep at the forefront of our minds, isn't it, Anne-Marie? We all have to be aware of empathy every single day, I think.
There are lots of empathy challenge activities for you to do at empathylab.uk.
And teachers, if you want to share some of your work, maybe your fantastic dance party, you can do that by tagging at Empathy Lab UK or hashtag Empathy Day Festival. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We've had a great time, haven't we, Anne-Marie?
Absolutely. So thank you, everybody, and see you later. Bye-bye, Lisa.